It's after, no, it's 8.
It's
8
8 o'clock,
o'clock.
let's go. So Travis drove in, how many minutes did it take you to get here?
Just over an hour and a half.
An hour and a half to get here from Gulf Breeze. So he drove in just to talk to you guys. So thank you, Travis, for doing that.
I've got to watch you guys, so I'm excited to be
Tra-
here. for
There
sure.
you go, right?
Travis
You're the
said-
one.
I get to see how this all takes place.
Yeah,
Travis
nice
said
to
on
see
the way in, he never thought he would ever be interviewed by anybody like us because he didn't see that in himself or his future.
Correct.
You never saw yourself that way. Interesting.
Give him a lot of credit to us.
Go ahead, John. So we're here really, all we want is we would like all of you to do or be the most that you can be. And then,
Hold on. Let's get back to the beginning. Yesterday was yesterday. If the computer didn't work, it's yesterday. Tomorrow's tomorrow. If the computer's not working because cars are running over it because it's sitting on the road, that's cool. That's tomorrow. But right now, we're gonna worry about right now. Okay? Now to let you all know that we brought Travis in, right? I think we told people we're doing it, but I don't know if everybody knows.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. We're gonna talk about how to build your business right now, okay? And we've been talking about how to build a big business and how to focus small to build big, right? That's what we've been talking about for the last forever. That's what we always talk about, right? But as part of that, it's important to see, and we had Courtney Ledesma come in last week, young gal that's crushing, right? She's a millionaire, 10 years in the business, crushing. It's important to see that people can actually do it. We talk, right? But sometimes you got to see it actually get done, right? At least I do,
the doers.
right? You know, I'll give you a good example because I like to make this stuff about me, right? Remember when we were out at, it must have been family reunion or somewhere. You probably be pre-Travis. Remember when Simon Sinek was going to be the speaker?
Oh, yeah. He did.
This is COVID. COVID was just starting to get around, and I was making fun of people in masks. It was just starting, and Simon Sinek was going to be the speaker.
Right, he did.
Family reunion, 5,000 some odd people there. And I remember and it's going to start at 9. And we get all of a sudden everybody's texts, their phones are buzzing. Simon Sinek's out. He's sick. He's whatever, right? Yeah. And so they had to push the whole big. He was the big keynote.
Right, that's right.
And then they had Gary went up there and tap danced for an hour, right? So stuff happens. You know what? I went on a listing appointment about a month ago. We were late because we got lost because we didn't do our proper preparation. But we knocked on the door for the listing presentation. The gal opened the door and stepped out, didn't invite us in. That's awkward. And she made us do the first half of the listing presentation on her front steps. And then she invited us in because I was sweating. She says, you're sweating, let's go inside. So you got to be able to tap dance, right? So we're tapping right now. You're going to tap when you are, and that's a big lesson, maybe the biggest lesson we learned today, right?
All right.
Okay, so Travis is here. Travis Mattair, tell us about you. Short version.
Short version. I am from Washington State. My nickname is Moose. I got that the day I was born. I played professional baseball for 8 years with the Phillies, the Reds, and then the Braves. My career ended in 2015 when they said enough is enough. And all those young prospects were coming up and pushed me out. So started a baseball and softball academy. Did that for 3 years. Very rewarding, not as much financially, but rewarding as you getting to help kids. Took a job at Gulf Breeze High School as the baseball coach there and was a paraeducator with the life skills kids. And I met my wife at Gulf Breeze High School and we're getting more serious. And I looked at my bank account and I had negative $11 in it. And I said, well, it's gonna be really tough to provide for a wife and he was 5 at the time, 5-year-old with negative $11 in my bank account. So I have to make a change. I really wanted to get into real estate. I wanted to flip. That was why I got into real estate. And Mark Simpson was my coach. And
Pause.
Yep.
Why did you want to flip? What did you read something?
I wanted it to be my dad's retirement plan as well. So me and him get to flip together and do that. He was a carpenter back in the day. We had just flipped my brother's home in Washington and I had gotten into it. I like working hard. Flipping, you get to see hard work pay off. You paint for 10 hours, you're going to see a big difference in it.
Sure.
So I really enjoy that.
We get it.
So then it was the financial aspect as well that I thought we could make some good money doing it. So
But you're not flipping right now,
not flipping.
Well,
I'm
you guys
actually,
forward to this story.
but you have more than $11.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I'm now paying people to flip the houses for
Good.
me and my wife, which is a good thing.
$11 an hour? Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, keep going, sorry.
But yeah, I sat down with Mark Simpson and he said, what is your goal financially? What do you need to make a year? And I said, $50,000. That is my goal. I want to make $50,000. I was making around 20,000 in the school system because I was a TA. I wasn't even a para. I was a TA with the life skills because I didn't go to college. And so I said 50,000. I'll have a little bit left over after I pay my bills. And Mark looked at me and he said, okay, that's definitely attainable. We may need to set our goals a little bit higher. In my eyes, I didn't see myself being somebody, like Jeff said, sitting here talking to you guys about financial success and whatnot in real estate. I really wanted to provide for my family, and that's really why I got into it.
Okay, pause. This is 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah,
So it can go, once it starts going, it can go, right?
absolutely.
Keep going.
And I have a mindset, I feel I'm wired a little bit differently, that if I'm going to do something, I want to be the best at it. I don't like being average at anything.
Yep.
When I started getting beat in video games by my son, I stopped playing them because I don't want to be average. I want to be really good at whatever I'm doing.
Those little guys are quick, but they can't take a hit, you know what I'm saying?
So I have a drive that I want to be the best at whatever I'm doing. And sometimes you have to kind of get uncomfortable to then get comfortable. And what I'm seeing a lot right now, talking to different agents, is they're afraid to make a mistake. And so they never get started. And it's a losing recipe. If you don't do anything, nothing is going to change. And so
That's a guarantee almost. Well, it could get worse.
Yeah, I guess so. But I was trying different things. I was throwing ideas off of Mark on how to get started, because that's a big thing. When you get your real estate license, what do I do next? I hear it all the time. My wife just got her license and she's kind of in that boat right now, and we're pushing and doing different strategies. But where do I go? How do I draw a business is the biggest thing. And so I read a lot. I talked to Mark a lot, and I was just trying different things. I was sending out flyers to different areas. I wanted to be on the beach. I saw your success and I followed your team, and I said, well, if I can sell one of those compared to 8 others at 200,000, well, I want to do that. And so I started on the beach and really made a push out there. And I ended up getting one listing off of that, and that really expedited my career.
Okay, pause. So you had a plan, or were you just casting lines wherever?
Honestly, when I first started, I was casting lines.
Okay.
It was,
Because that's what everybody does, right?
Yeah.
You cast a line and hope,
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
right?
Something comes out.
But without a plan, without 1, 2, 3, right? You just go from 1 to 8 and then back to 6 and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do that for a little while. When did you get organized? When did it start rolling for you?
The listing on the beach really did help. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It sold for 2.6 million, and I was available and present all the time. And I feel like that's such a main thing in our business. You have to pick up your phone. It's amazing the people that don't pick up their phone in our business, and it's crazy that they're in business. So answer your phone. But it got me set up in the investor world, which I didn't know really even existed. And so I started working for different investors. They liked the area. They wanted a specific piece of property, a piece of land, Gulfront land. So I'm calling every land owner on Pensacola Beach, Navarre Beach, and then one of those.
Pause. Wait, you found somebody who wanted a piece of land. So you call landowners?
How about that?
This is incredible. Incredible. All right. Keep going.
So we ended up finding a piece of land. He bought it for $1,080,000. He then told me 4 months later, what do you think I can get for this? At the time, it was the most expensive piece of land that sold out there. He sold it for 1.75 million for months later, and I realized this is a good thing that we have going here. So I always followed up, and that is a really big thing. Whenever you have a listing, in my eyes, anytime I have a listing, I want 4 transactions off of that one listing. So I'm going to sell the house that I have listed. Maybe I procure a buyer, who knows? I have an open house, or people are calling me and they don't have an agent. I want that person. There's many different ways to get additional business off of that one transaction. So,
Okay, pause. 2.5 years ago, you're sitting around, all right, I'm gonna do the beach thing, I'm gonna get an investor. When did this 4 things? You didn't know that going in, you came to that.
came to that. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a business you grow if you're trying hard. We talk about learning every day, spend a few minutes learning every day, previewing, all that stuff. That's how you get to these 4, I would call them standards,
Mhm.
or is that a standard?
I'm trying to definitely.
If you make it a standard, it
Yeah.
will be right.
Sure.
Damn right, okay. So you get these 4, is it working?
It is working. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
And I kept on it and kept going, and I still tried new things. I didn't really have my systems in place. I mean, systems are always developing. If you think you have your system set in stone and that's the only thing you're going to do, you're going to revert in a downward trend eventually. You always have to be adapting to change and always learning and trying new things to a certain extent.
You have your foundation, your fundamentals, rock solid, but you got to build on those fundamentals, right?
For sure.
And sometimes you'll learn this from sports, I'm sure. Sometimes you get away with being just willing to work a little harder, a little better athlete. A lot of athletes out athlete other people until they get to the top, and then it's get really hard to out athlete
I
people.
was
Right?
there.
Yeah, right. And so then you got to start working on your techniques, your skills, your experience, your knowledge, your expertise. You just can't outwork. You can't out athlete people. But when you start and you don't have the knowledge, the expertise, whatever, you better be willing to outwork,
For sure.
or else you're done.
Talk about that, this getting up early perspective you have.
Yeah, a big part of my whole business is waking up, and truly waking up. And to new agents, I think waking up can go in a lot of different ways. I did the math. I wake up at 3:45 every morning. And the reason I do that is
Some people say every night, but keep going.
my son actually says I wake up in the middle of the night. But I was working at Gulf Breeze full time. I was coaching baseball full time. I was coaching my son's baseball as well. And I was doing real estate all at the same time. So the teaching at Gulf Breeze, that's no more. The baseball is no more right this second, but now we have a farm and rodeo and all that. And so nobody has time. Everybody says that's the biggest thing they want more of is time.
Yep.
And so I realized if I got up earlier, I would have more time in the day. And I was doing the math on it. And if you are somebody that wakes up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you decide I'm going to make a push and I'm going to wake up 1 hour, just 1 hour, you don't have to wake up at 3:45, but if you wake up at 6 a.m. instead of 7, you're going to have 15 extra days during the year.
Yeah.
15 days. That's a lot of extra.
That's a lot,
That's a lot. Of
especially if
extra
you
time.
do a lot in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
totally get it.
when I was still teaching the Gulf Breeze, I wanted to work more and harder and get everything accomplished before everyone woke up. That was kind of my objective to myself, that I wanted to do more before others woke up and they were going to do in their entire
You should
day.
join the army, isn't that their thing?
So that was just my philosophy on it. And it really, now that it's only real estate, that all of my emails and follow-ups and all of that are accomplished before the average person wakes up and gets their day started. So when the phone starts ringing, I'm not trying to do all my follow-ups and everything at the same time. That's all completed, done. And now I can start a day fresh.
Okay,
instead of
let's
following
pause
up
for a
on
minute, because I can hear all these people, 3:30 or whatever. I don't even get home till 1, right? What time are you going to bed? Because health is a thing. You cannot do this job if you're tired. You can't do anything if you're tired for very long.
I mean, I would lie. I would love to be in bed at 8:30 or 9. That's not
Right.
reality. It's usually 10:30 is
Right.
when I'm getting.
So you're operating on a shorter
if I can get 6 hours, that's what I feel like I'm pretty well.
But let's be honest, most people need 8 or else you're starting to crumble. You can play that game for a while and some people can. Trump, I think he's like hour and a half a night or something. I don't know.
That's crazy.
But Biden is like on 23 and a half hours. That's not a political thing. That's just a funny.
It's a fact.
Or it's a fact. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is this, get the necessary sleep. Not everybody has to get up at, or even can get up at 4 in the morning. Get up at 6, get up at 7, just get up, right? And give yourself a chance.
And then going off of that, the wake up, it's also waking up and saying, you have to have a belief in yourself to wake up, look yourself in the mirror and say, I can do that. A lot of people just don't get
And believe
started.
it, not just say it, but
Yeah.
actually believe it.
Yeah, if you do say it enough, though, I truly believe
You
that
can
you
get there.
do start believing
Affirmation,
it.
yeah.
I wanted to make $50,000. That was my overall goal. I had no idea, and then I started really pushing myself. Got a little bit uncomfortable, and then got more comfortable with what I was doing. Mark Simpson, he said, "How do you go from being the baseball guy to the real estate guy?" And that sat in my head, because I always wanted to be the baseball guy. That was what my whole life was based around, as being a professional baseball player.
Mhm.
And so to make that transition, sorry,
That's right.
I just talked to people and let people know that I was in real estate. And they say have real estate conversations.
Okay, hold
have
on.
5 of
When
them.
you say you're talking to people,
Mhm.
you're in line at Publix. Hey, man, it's a real estate. I mean, how does that work? When you say people, who are people? Are you calling them on the phone? You're knocking on the door? Or you just, hi, I'm Travis. Or how's this work?
Honestly, Publix is a really good example. I've had many conversations with the workers there, people in line. It's simple. You have
There's somebody out there. Oh my God, there's that guy.
Yeah.
Put the oranges down. Let's go.
It's not a pressure conversation,
Yeah.
though. If I see somebody with a baseball shirt on,
Yeah.
a Brave shirt, oh, you a Braves fan, play for them.
Love it.
Where are you from? Did you just move into the area? Then it's a real estate conversation just like that immediately. And so now.
Have you always been that guy?
I have.
Or some
Not-
of us,
Not necessarily presenting myself
Yeah,
as something, talking about real estate, but I do enjoy talking to people
Yeah.
for sure.
and you enjoy real estate
Oh, yeah.
and you enjoy baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you find something you enjoy, I know some people on here are horses. They love horses and they can talk horses and real estate, whatever. I happen to like real estate. So I don't talk real estate, but everybody has something, right? Everybody's got something. Figure out what your something is and then your passion comes out, right? And they
For sure.
respond to that. Is that fair to say?
Well, he has a story about that from yesterday in the goat.
Yeah.
He went to pick up a goat.
You
Go
met
ahead.
Michael Jordan?
He went to pick up a goat. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we do now own a farm, and we have a bunch of goats and chickens and pigs and 3 horses, and my son's in the rodeo. And actually, my last 2 listing appointments have been from the farming world.
Yeah.
We sold a horse. The lady said that she wanted to sell her house, and immediately got that conversation started. Just the other day, we went and bought a goat, and as the conversation continued, we asked why they were selling the goats and all of that. Well, we're moving to Ecuador, and so boom, immediately, hey, we are in real estate. Me and my wife are in real estate. Would you be interested in seeing what we think your home
Yeah.
would be worth? And so
Hard to move your land to Ecuador. They gotta do something.
they
Yeah.
gotta do something.
Yeah.
And so
Very good.
when you get started, the conversations, because we talk about it all the time, have 5 conversations a day, have 25, have 50 a week, have as many as you can. Well, what does that look like? And people build it up in their mind that it's some really difficult task that you have to do. It doesn't have to be. It can be something similar, a connection with somebody. If you're at the grocery store, you guys are both shopping for something, you can have that conversation and immediately flip it to where they're from, where they
Yeah.
are going, whatever it may be. So it's not as hard as what people make it sound to have a real estate conversation.
No, I think it's a you problem, right? More
For sure.
than a them problem.
And you feel uncomfortable when you haven't done it. You feel uncomfortable bringing that up. But if you have a passion for it and a reason and your big why, it should show, and it should be
And
more
it
of a
does.
natural conversation.
It does.
Yeah.
I've seen it in our people. I've seen it in people I don't even know.
Mhm.
I'll tell you where I see it is when I don't see it. As weird as that sounds like, it's a lack of self-confidence in the agent themselves, right? Where then they become the person that'll show 80 houses. They're the person that will get blown off 4 or 5 times on an appointment and just keep coming back, rather than controlling the thing or not having the conversation because they don't have confidence that, I'm good enough to do this. I understand the horse business. I understand the goat business. I understand real estate. I understand all that. I can help you.
Mhm.
Something brought us together.
Just got to get
Right.
over the fear of being asked a question you don't know the answer to. You can find an answer, but that's why people don't ask.
I'll guarantee you know more about selling real estate than they do
Right.
most of the time. Now, they may say it differently. They may argue with you, but you do. So take the initiative, right? Don't hope, oh God, I hope that guy in the baseball hat asked me about baseball because I'd love to talk about that. Right? You gotta be the one that does it.
Yeah, and I feel like newer agents they look at that it's some secret sauce to get to a financial success, whatever that may look like. It's not as difficult as what people think it is. I look at, we're now investing in property, and I've made a lot of investors pretty good money. And I looked at my wife and I said, why can't we do this on a smaller scale? And so I set my goals and of what we want to make in passive income. And it's like, it's not as hard as what you think it is. It looks really hard to make $150,000 in passive income a year. When you just look at that, it looks hard. But when you actually break it down, it's really not that hard. I feel like it's the same way in drawing up business and being successful financially in real estate. It's not a super secret sauce or anything. It's just being diligent and setting those systems and having those conversations to get to that point.
Stay with it.
Mhm.
Here's something interesting, because I like to make it all about me. Today I wrote the post. I don't know if you read this. It's a short story. They made it into a movie that won all kinds of awards. It's called a Boy, a Mole, a Horse, and a Fox. Short story, not that long. And in it, the boy's looking into the woods. He says, I can't see the other side. And the horse says to the boy, well, can you see your next step? And the boy said, yes. Horse said, well, take it. And off he went through the woods and he made it through. It's the same thing. If you're looking at that 150,000 and you're at minus 11, that is a deep, thick, dark wood that you're like, oh boy, I ain't going into that.
Mhm.
But if you can just take that one step, 2 steps, 3 steps, and then you're like Forrest Gump running down the thing, and the things are flying off his legs, right? That's just the way it works. But if you told Forrest you got to get from there to there, if you're gonna play Alabama football and then go blank happens it, he ain't doing it, right? Sometimes you just got to do it. It's the same thing here. But did it go faster once you figured it out when you created a plan and started following that plan?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a 10x it, right?
Yeah. I went from 14 transactions my first year to 44 my second. We're at 51 this year. So it's rapidly
Mhm.
increasing by just being diligent on what I'm doing and the intention that I'm doing it in.
For sure.
And a perspective, I want to let him say this too. You were called up by a recruiter, and the recruiter's trying to recruit Travis. Of course, you're going to get calls like this all the time.
A real estate recruiter?
But what I wanted to say was what you told the recruiting person, I intend to make
I want to make $1 million.
$1 million. So he intends to make $1 million.
A year or?
This year, that's
Okay.
right.
In a year.
Okay.
In a year. So I'd like everybody on the call to do something like that. We talk about this 411 goal setting. I intend to believe in yourself. And then when you talked to me about you and your wife, when she first got in, and you were talking about how many flyers you were making, how many texts, tell them some numbers that what you're doing each day.
Yeah, well, it started when I was in Pensacola on North Davis around the Olive area, and I was stuck in traffic, and I just heard the stat that around 12% of people are either going through a real estate transaction or they are going into one or know of somebody that are going into one.
Mhm.
And I was stuck in traffic and I was looking at all these people and I said, why aren't these people using me? And almost taking it to heart, like, I can't believe they wouldn't use me. Well, they don't know it, that I'm even in real estate. and
They
who
can't
I
use you
am.
if they don't know you.
Exactly. And so how do I get my name to all of them? And there's many different ways to go about it, but I started sending out flyers. I thought that was a really good way that would be the first time that they saw my name. If they get a flyer in the mail from me and then they're driving down the road and they see my sign in the yard, well, that's 2 touches and I haven't done anything. I haven't
Yeah.
personally talked
Yeah.
to them. And maybe they think, hey, maybe this guy is a good asset.
Or at least
So,
it registers somewhere deep
for
in
sure.
their head.
And then if I happen to talk to somebody that has got a flyer and seen my sign, then it's a very easy conversation to have that, okay, now that's me. Oh, I've seen you on a flyer and on a sign. Let's see what you have to offer. And so, so I started sending out flyers, farming different areas. Just recently with a little bit slower market, I'm really getting back to all of that. My wife just farmed an area. She sent out around 300 flyers to this one specific area. I just sent out 300 flyers to another specific area that we are farming just to try to start drawing up that business again. And
Okay.
sometimes you need a setback to then set yourself forward. And
Is it
that's
just like an
kinda-
advertisement that you're sending out, you, your company, your name and everything, or are you sending out something that's not really related to more valuable information?
Here's what's being asked. What are you sending out in the flyer?
Yeah, in my flyers, the area that I am farming in, I run all of the comps and get the numbers together. And of course, I tell them I am not an appraiser, but roughly in your area, this is how much homes are worth. People that have been sitting on properties for 20, 30 years, they have no idea how much their property is worth. And so I give them a rough ballpark of what their home could be worth. And I introduce myself, who I am. If you have any accolades, definitely throw that in there. I don't like to be boastful and brag or anything like that, but they do need to know that you have had success if you have.
It's credibility. It's not
Credibility.
bragging. Credibility.
And then what their home could be worth or that area is worth, and that I would love to talk to them, reach out to me by email, phone, text, anything, and I would love to value their home for them. And it's as simple as that. And it really does, it has worked. One area in specific on Navarre Beach, I had an investor wanted in a certain area. There was 48 homes in this neighborhood. I called every single homeowner in there and asked them if they were willing to sell. I have a buyer that wants in there. I ended up getting them. I got both sides of that deal. I ended up selling 5 other homes in that neighborhood. And then I got 5 pieces of land in that neighborhood. So out of the 48, I had 10 of the 48, which was a pretty good ratio in my opinion. So I just continued to do that. And there's nothing secret about it. It's just being intentional on what you're doing and the funds that you're spending, because everything costs money. But I realized that if I got just one deal off of those, it's paying it back to me 10 times over. So
The
just
cost.
intention. Yeah.
Yeah. This is called a millionaire real estate agent, right? It's not called a $50,000 real estate agent. But I do know you got to go through 50 to get to 100, to get to 250 to $1 million. I get it. It's a progression. And one thing I've learned also over my career, a lot of people do really well for a while, right? We've seen people come,
Oh, yeah.
they've been in the business 2 years, right? Take this to heart, maybe.
Yeah.
I've been in the business for 2 years. I'm crushing. I'm the number this and the whatever that. But then 3 years later, they're working at Publix and not trying to sell real estate. They're bagging groceries, right? So I think what it does is it comes back to the process. If the process is good and you're willing to work the process, the credibility will present itself along the way.
Well, what he's saying, you two are a lot alike. Everything he's saying, you said the whole time when we first got
Yeah.
together for
For
the
20
first
years.
5, yeah. It was just all of this. The belief in yourself that if someone doesn't use you, that's their loss, not yours, that you don't feel the rejection of it. You just keep moving because you know you're good.
But you're not losing very many, right?
Fortunately, no.
No, you don't. It's just one of those things. When you start believing you're the best one and they're nuts if they don't go with you,
Right.
but you're not stupid about it, right? It's just that confidence.
Right. Not
The very
arrogance.
worst thing that anyone can say to you, very worst, is no.
No,
That's it. And
right?
your life, your son's still gonna come up
Yeah,
tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
that's not that bad. When that's the very, very worst thing that can happen is no. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one and see.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
So Travis's big why is his family, and it causes him to get up at 3:45 every day. You do the same thing. You get up earlier than most people.
Yeah, I'm
run
not up at
around and do this.
3:45.
No.
I get up at
most people
3.
don't do that, yeah. But the whole point is,
one up.
you guys have a why that's big enough to get you moving every day. And then you have a big goals. You do too.
Yeah.
You've been wanting to get into Gary's top group and all that for a while.
Yeah.
So,
I think the big why is such a big factor. I know you guys have touched on it a bunch, and you hear it all the time when you're just starting. What is your big why? But if it's something is bigger than yourself, you're more than likely going to go and try to do whatever it takes to attain whatever that big why is. And
So-
mine was my family, and I wanted to impress my now wife, and so I couldn't with negative in my bank account. So I had to make some changes.
all right.
Well, unless you're doing something, because now she's on board with you. Right?
Yes, she is, and they're married.
Yeah.
Moving on.
And then the natural evolution is she'll keep working and you'll start managing her. Yeah, there we go.
That's what John always wanted to do, right?
I can assure you, I'm never going to manage her.
Oh, yeah.
She's in
Oh,
charge.
man. So here's the other thing I've noticed, Travis, you'll probably enjoy this is, once you start going, your big why is going, you're working the process, you're putting systems in place, you're doing that. Awesome. Put systems in place. They're out there. They're not hard. Lead gen every day,
Yes,
pretty much, right? Study the market.
every day.
You got to know the market, guys. If you don't know the market stats, if you don't know the going rates or whatever, the sale prices, whatever, you're at a disadvantage to somebody who does. And then preview property. I think we've said that, every time we got together, right?
Forever.
Because it matters. It matters. But one thing I've noticed is, as you said, you like to teach baseball and do all that, but you can't. I mean, you get up at 2:30. At some point, it just
There is a
doesn't
limit,
work,
yeah.
right? But what I've noticed is, once you get out past the breakers, you're making the money and you get some money and your money's making your money. All of a sudden, you don't have to get up at 3:30. You can sleep until 4. And, right, but then you got some time and you can start giving back and having these types of things, or coaching your baseball. I coach all my son's sports and stuff, which is why he's in intramurals now, but still. Right. He's the quarterback on their frat team. But yeah, but I got the opportunity to do that, to go to the tournaments and to do all that, and still make good money. It's just in the beginning though, you kind of have to sacrifice. You got to get up at 3:30 in the morning if you want to have time with your kids, or you're sacrificing your business, which you can do that too, but you're going to end up being 60 by the time it works.
True.
Right.
That's the whole life balance we talked about yesterday, I think it
Yeah.
was, or the day before.
It's very hard to have balance.
Yeah.
Right. I heard a guy talk once and he was saying, a guy called him younger kid, right? And he gave the whole thing, when you die, it's all about the dash on your tombstone, not when you started or were born, not when you die, it's about the dash. And the guy's listening to him. He's like, okay. Because the kid wanted to go to Europe, right? And bounce around Europe for a while and make his dash.
Mhm.
And the guy's listening to him. It's like, okay, I get it. Love it. Here's the thing. When you're young and you're capable of getting up at 3 and working and doing all that, do it the other way. Go when you're young and you're strong. Go work your ass off
Mhm.
so that when you're a little bit older, you can do your dash. But instead of staying at a youth hostel, you're staying at a Four Seasons. It's a better dash, right? And the kid's like, oh. And the guy said, yeah, you don't have to do it forever, but when you're young, just, 10 years, 15 years, just go bust your chops. So we got a gal here, she's 18. I got a kid on my team, he's 15. Most of our people started when they were 20. Courtney's 32 right now. She's a millionaire, making a ton of money, and her dash is getting bigger. Right?
Yep, I wish I would have.
Yeah, I wish I would have. Don't be, I wish I would have. Be, I'm glad I did.
Absolutely.
Right? It's a big difference in mindset.
That's why we're doing this.
Okay, so you're up at 3:30. When are you saying? Is that when you do the flyers or? What are you doing?
Yeah,
What are you doing
I-
at 3:30 for God's sake?
Well, usually it's follow up and emails and,
Oh, you're calling him? Hey, it's Travis.
I will say,
I wanted to catch you before you got up.
I do lose track of time every now and again.
Yeah.
I'll send a text at
To your
at
California
5:30.
people, right? Hey, you still had dinner? Yeah,
Yeah, I will catch myself though, send them text a little bit too early. I lose track of time when I'm going, but it's really just getting all of my follow-up and emails out of the, not out of the way, but getting that completed before my son gets up and my
Yeah.
wife gets up, so I can still do all of the dad things that,
Yeah.
the responsibilities I have and feed the farm animals and all of that. There's a lot that goes on at a farm, so
oh my
when people
word.
say that they don't have time, I want to challenge you that you do have more time than you think.
So did
Because
you get all
mucking
that?
a stall at 5:30 a.m. and mucking a stall at 9:30, 10 p.m., you have time during the day.
Hold on. So when somebody told you you got to start farming, you went crazy and actually bought the damn farm?
I bought the
Oh
farm.
my word. But it got you some business.
That's right.
Nice, nice. Okay, so we're up, we're at 3:30, we do our lead gen, we're hanging out with the family for a while, right? And then what, they go to school?
Go to school, yep.
And then what
And
happens?
I mean, really, that's when lead gen is always part of the process and the follow-ups. Usually that's around 8, I would say 8-ish is when that's really getting a push in that. So it's the first thing they're seeing when they're getting up in the morning. Just something simple. Hey, I know you were looking at this home. Is there anything else that?
Is
you're
this
interested
email,
in?
texting, phone? What are we doing?
Not phone, not that early. I try to wait till at least 9 to make a
Yeah,
phone call, but
fair enough.
text and email. I'm not afraid to send an email very, very early. So it's in their inbox
Yeah.
if that's one thing that I have to accomplish. Studying the market.
Mhm.
If I have a listing in a certain area, I continuously follow up on what's going on in that area just to see if
Mhm.
there needs to be an adjustment, all of that. Seeing where each of my listings are sitting. I don't look at views every day. It's for a while there, you didn't have to, there was zero
Yeah.
time frame. You had
Yeah.
10 offers on it.
Yeah,
Now it's sitting a little bit longer. So
for sure.
looking at views on how many people are paying attention to your listing. And now it's also into different marketing. I still don't know TikTok very well, but people are making a huge push in that. So I've been researching lately on, is that a marketing strategy that I want to use? So I'm really trying to adapt to the market and get in front of the right people.
For sure.
So
Okay, so you're doing lead gen. Do you have like a contact? Are you trying to get 20 contacts? It's the holy grail, right? 20 contacts a day. Is that what you're doing or what are you doing?
I don't have that as a
Okay.
goal for myself. No, I have a database of around 1,000. I follow up with them usually bi-monthly,
Yeah.
I would say.
Mhm.
But any contact that I have received the day before, and I try to always, I'm kind of a nerd on Excel. I know it's not the best way to go about it, but it works for me. I put
And it's the
everything
best way.
into an Excel sheet. And so just constantly updating that. I look at my numbers at least every other day, and
What are your numbers?
my numbers on volume, on transactions, on how much I'm bringing home, all of
Okay.
that. And also I look at my listings and what I haven't sold and what those funds are. And my wife thinks I'm crazy because she said, you can never cash a check before you get it. And I agree, but it makes my brain, I feel like going to overdrive,
Mhm.
and I want to see those funds come into my bank account. So how do I accomplish that? And so it's kind of a reminder to myself all the time. I never want to plateau. I always want to be on the climb.
Mhm.
And so I look at those numbers saying, I can have that in my bank account
Okay.
if I do X, whatever X is.
Okay.
And each transaction is different. So am I marketing things correctly? Do I need to do something a little bit differently? That all goes into that first part of my day too. Then it goes into, if I have buyers, into showings and
Appointments.
appointments and all of that. So not every day is the same whatsoever. And that's one thing I do love about it. My mornings are typically the same till about 10, I would say, 10, 11. But then the afternoons are different. I am a full-time stepdad and I'm a full-time rodeo dad, and we have to take care of our farm animals as well. So those things I sacrifice a lot at times, but I still realize my big why is my family. And if they're my why, then I can't sacrifice too much away from them. So I try to accomplish as much as I can when he's at school or when he's sleeping. So I can be.
Okay, so curious then, what's next? What's 10 years out? What does that look like? Are you still doing what you're doing
Well, I
today?
follow you every day, so I better. I
Couple
think
handsome
a
men, I
lot-
get it, right?
I think a lot of you. I mean, I've looked at the team setting. My wife is now on board with me. My brother-in-law, he just got his license. I just brought on 2 other agents to Keller Williams, and
Just to grow the team.
I think the team aspect is going to be next for me. Is it right this second? I do not know. I just got my Alabama reciprocal license because in a slower market, I missed out on 2 deals that I was hitting my head on my desk like, you can't miss deals that are simple. So I went and got my Alabama license, and so I don't exactly know the structure yet. The team is where it is looking like it is going because time is even getting those 15 days back, waking up an hour earlier, you still run into, okay, I truly do not have time to go show this buyer the house. So I need somebody to be able to go and show that house. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to grow it that way, but I don't want to force something. Whenever I have forced something in real estate, truly without a great understanding and an educated risk on it, it seems to have failed. So I'm letting it kind of go organically. And then when the time is right. That's
Pretty
more
merciless that way. If you screw something up, it'll let you know.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's right.
I can tell you this, a couple of years ago, we did 252 deals. And I think I was involved, directly my deals with my name specific on less than 20. Right. So
That's the dream.
yeah, that's the leverage that works for you. The other thing is you're buying real estate. Is that true? You're investing?
Yes.
And you're flipping some too?
Yeah, we got this.
Are you buying and holding too?
This one, we haven't yet.
Okay.
And that's where that passive income and the goal setting for that has come in. If we can make X, I would feel very comfortable. And so holding would be a great play. It's so enticing when you have that ready to go and to see the chunk that you want to take that immediately. But for long-term wealth, holding is the correct move.
Yeah, I remember Gary recently, I can't remember exactly when it was, the last few months, because it's getting hard now, right? He's like everyone, he makes his money on the up and then he circles wagons on the down and gets ready for the next up. And I remember him distinctly because it's opposite of what I did. He said he bought real estate in college and he's so glad he did. Wow. Right. And I'm going over there. I didn't buy real estate in college and I so wish I did. It goes back to that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm glad I did. And I wish I would have. Right. But I'm really glad I bought the properties I bought now. And I bought quite a few. Because here's the thing with real estate, you guys, your best friend is time. Right? Maybe not on a flipper, but on a buy and hold, your best friend is time. If you can buy today, 30 years from now, you'll be patting yourself on the back, right? 20 years, 10 years. And I tell our people about buyers even right now, is now a good time to buy. Well, if you're going to hold it, it is, no matter what. Because if you look at it, real estate goes up and to the right over time, all the time. And really the only time there's a down is right after a steep up, there'll be a steep down. If you're aware of that steep up, you'll be aware that there's a steep down coming, you can plan accordingly. And that's either to sell when it's up or take a cash out refi or book some money somewhere so you can buy on the down or just hold, right? The people who aren't paying attention get hurt on those downs. But if you are paying attention, a steep up indicates a steep down, but over time it goes up. And I tell people, well, I don't know, let me ask you this. Do you wish you would have bought something 10 years ago? And everybody goes,
Every time.
"Ah,
Yeah, every
how about
time.
20 years? Oh, God, yeah, 30, oh, man, only. Well, it's gonna be the same thing in 10, 20, and 30 years from now. It's so expensive. Yeah, wait until 20 years from now.
Yeah.
You're gonna be wishing.
That's right.
Okay, so before we wrap this thing up, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
New people, what are you telling somebody just, or these folks on the line here that might be bumping up against some hard time, right? Which is whatever's not working, or somebody thinking about it. What do you tell the new person?
It's a great question, especially when you're new, you don't know where
You don't know.
to turn.
What's
So
your next step?
It
What's
is
the horse step?
okay to go and cast several lines and see what
Yeah.
is working. I'm going through it where I am marketing myself differently right now. I had to make a change. Everybody's having to make a change in this shifting market. And so I'm going at it in different ways. I think it's to go at it of educating people. When you think about educating others, you're going to educate yourself a ton. If it's on the market, if it's on ways to go about buying real estate, what they can do once they buy. If you are educating others, you're educating yourself. And I think that's a big play. But a big thing for new agents or people that were on a high and now they're on a plummet, go and do something.
Yeah, don't stop, keep swimming, right?
Yeah, you
tread
have to
water,
do
do something.
something. If you are just sitting behind your computer every day staring at the screen,
Yeah.
the business is not going to fall in your lap. So get out in front of people, talk to people, do something you haven't done. Look at your systems. If you've been in it a while, look at your systems that you had a year ago, 2 years ago, go back to them, see if that's your new way to do it. But to sit and just say, oh, the market stinks right now, there's no buyers right now, there's no sellers right now, that is not true. That is not true at all. People are still buying.
Look at the hot
People are
sheet. If you're
still
curious, look at the
selling.
hot sheet. I'll guarantee you there's buyers and sellers.
And we live in such an awesome area with military, we have tourism, we have so much, we live in the greatest place, in my opinion, for real estate. And there's so many people wanting to get out of the Northeast and the far West, and they're coming here. So challenge yourself to go and talk to referral agents over in California, up in New York. Get out of your comfort zone and do something maybe that you haven't done before, and just keep on trucking, but do something. I know
Okay.
that sounds very cliche, but do something.
Let me ask you this too. Can anybody do it? Do you need a Superman cape? Do you have to get changed in the phone booth? Can anybody do this?
Yes.
If
You
they're
have
willing
you
to
have
work?
to have a cape on. No, no.
Well,
Anyone.
comes with the outfit, but
Anyone and everyone can do this. There is no other job that you can take a 63-hour course and make more money than a doctor can. There's nothing in this world that you can do that, but you have to
you have to do the work.
do the work. Absolutely.
But like you came from sports, you have to be big, fast, strong, and young, right? If you're not that, you ain't making it. No matter what,
Mhm.
right? If you're not really tall in basketball or can't jump 8 feet, you're not making it, right? In real estate, if you're willing to just say, hi, my name is, tell me about your plans for real estate over the next 12 months. If you can do that, even if it has to be like this or writing or whatever, you can do it. If you want to, there's no barriers to entry in that regard.
The worst thing that anyone can say to you is no.
No.
That's it. Worst thing.
Yeah.
So go have the conversation. Don't say, I wish I had. Go and do it and
Go and do
get
it.
going.
What did you say to me? We were talking on the way in. Awaken? You said that
Wake up.
to tell the new people, to tell the people on the call.
Yeah.
If you were to give them advice, what would you say?
Wake up, truly. It's a different market than we're in right now. It is not a bad market. We need to wake up and actually see that and educate people on the different trends and whatnot. Navarre, if you're over in Navarre area, it's a strong seller's market still. It's 52 days on market. Destin's is seeing a little bit more. It's in triple digits now at 117 or something like that.
Listen to
But,
you. We're gonna talk about this in our team
Yeah.
meeting today, by the way, all of this. Go ahead.
And for anybody, because we got folks around the country too, it doesn't matter. Your market, there's gonna be places in your market that are hot. There's places in your market that are not, okay?
Yeah.
So doesn't matter. Somebody somewhere is doing something, go find them. Period.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say, both of you, since you guys run parallel stuff and now he's watching you, is your coaches both have said to you all what? Think bigger, not 50 grand. Now you're at $1 million. You're the same way with what your coach is pushing on you to maybe create a
Yeah.
giant franchise and $1 billion operation,
Yeah,
right?
we're looking at billions that we're trying to force.
So thinking bigger,
That's
I think,
different.
is a message that we all should hear.
Right.
If you're getting up and getting on this call, thinking bigger for yourself and your family, connect to your big why and go for it.
But remember the horse and the kid, right? The forest is big and dark. You'll get through it. Just look at one step. You don't have to go from all the way.
No,
You don't have to hit the home run. You can score on singles, right? You can
You'll
bunt.
move, you'll move through your process.
Yeah, yeah. All right, that's what I got. You got anything?
No, that's it.
You got anything?
appreciate
Nope,
being
this
here.
is good.
All
The
right,
only one
guys.
that can get in your way is yourself.
Yeah.
You push past that, have confidence in yourself and a belief in yourself, and you truly can do whatever you want to in life.
Play your cards right. You can have yourself a farm and goats.
We have special people like Travis go
Yeah.
through our life and John through my life. So it's a special time for us. So.
There you
thank
go.
Thank you.
If you
guys.
had questions, sorry, we're technically challenged.
You're good.
There are no questions.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, Travis, that was fun, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you so
good, wasn't it?
much.
Travis,